Hey, so we made it to our last day of Greek mythology writing. I'm so excited to read your stories. You guys have come up with some really awesome ideas that I've been truly enjoying reading about. You guys are very, very creative. So I can't wait to see how they come about. So just a couple of reminders for today. I hope you're watching this video before we meet. And as you write your story, remember you can use speech to text to help you to get all of your ideas out. Just remember that if you do that, then to go back in and add in things like periods, capital letters, paragraphs, punctuation where it should be, things like that. If you use the speech to text at the end of a sentence, you can say period and it will put a period there. You can say quotation marks and it should put quotation marks in if you want to do like dialogue for your characters. So just make sure that you're going back and then editing your piece before you submit it to me. Remember, the piece is not due until Friday. So I'm not expecting it to be turned in today. I'm expecting it to be turned in tomorrow, Friday. Okay, because remember, Flexible Friday does not mean no work Friday. It means an extra day to finish your assignments Friday. Okay, so a couple of reminders. Writers for Greek mythology and writers across the board as well, and no matter what the genre, they are sure to include in fiction and Greek mythology the elements. They are sure to include information about the character. Remember all that work that you did to describe your character's traits, internal, external, negative internal traits. Make sure that you include all of that in your writing. The setting. Where does the story take place? Make sure that you describe the setting in as much descriptive language as possible. The rest of us reading it, we want to really be able to feel like we are there in your story, experiencing it for ourselves, as if we are a character in the story. Your problem and your solution that you worked really hard on yesterday, make sure that you include those aspects of your story as well. What is the problem? What is it that your character thinks is important? And how does the problem get solved? And what is learned by all of the characters by the end of the story? What's the result? What happens because the problem is solved? Make sure that when you're writing, you do a show and don't just tell, because that's a little bit boring, right? We want these stories to be our best work. And I know that just based on how excited you guys were about even doing your work this week, that these are going to be really good. Make sure you include actions. Tell us what the character is doing. Really describe what the character is doing and how they are doing it. The character's thoughts. Is the character thinking anything that you can write down? What's the dialogue? What's the conversation that's going on between your character and secondary characters? And don't forget to use as many descriptive words as possible. Like I said, in addition to talking about character setting, problem, and solution, you want to make sure that you are also including these as well: actions, thoughts, dialogue, and as many descriptive words. We want to feel like we are really there in the story, experiencing it for ourselves. Remember, you have 2 days to do this story, and you can use speech to text. It doesn't have to be a very, very long story, just as long as it takes for you to tell a complete story that has a clear beginning, middle, and end. So the beginning is where you're setting up the story. You're telling who the characters are, their traits, where the story is taking place. As you get closer to the middle, you're going to get into the problem. Maybe you have more than one problem that you're going to be talking about. And as you get to the end, that's where we get to the solution, where the characters find a way to resolve whatever the problem is and what they learn from this whole experience. Okay, so we will talk about this in our groups today and just get your ideas flowing before you go ahead and write it on your own. And remember, it is due on Friday. Okay, see you later.